G'day fixers, welcome back to the workshop, and today we are taking a look at the EcoFlow Delta. Now I don't often do purely promo sponsored review spots, but this is going to be one of them because the lovely people at EcoFlow Australia were kind enough to offer me a Delta in exchange for my honest opinion, and that's what I am going to provide to you today. Let's take a look at what comes in the box and who this might be for and whether or not it's something that you could consider adding to your workshop. What you get in the pack, other than the giant battery, is a very nice presentation. The box is beautiful, the padded insert foam was protecting the unit perfectly. Whoever they did for their marketing and packaging guide did a fantastic job. There's all the instructions, everything you could need. This has all the cables in it. You get your standard AC charging cable, you get your car charging cable, and you get some of the hookups. I think they're for DC, and the solar panel optional attachment that you can add as well if you need it, and a lovely protective cover. I'm sure the instructions are great. I didn't need them. It's a very simple piece of kit, and it is huge. Let's start with that. Now it is not light. This is clocking in at 14 kilos or about 31 pounds. So it has these two very sturdy, lovely handles, because you are going to need them. It is not what you call portable in the sense of you want to be carrying it around. It is definitely beefy enough that you're going to plonk it down where you want to go. That is not strained, that is genuine effort of lifting the thing. For some comparison, this is what I currently use to charge my mobile phone when it runs out of batteries. It is 37 watt hours at 5 volts. I would need 34 of these to provide the same amount of power that the EcoFlow Delta can spit out, and it can do it at 240 volts. This is not a giant phone battery. This is a portable power solution that can run just about anything you could ask of it. I recently did give this a really good test out when I was over at North Sydney doing some outdoor projects where I didn't have access to power, and one of the reasons why I accepted this promotional offer is because when I'm doing handyman stuff, there are occasions where I don't have plug-in power, and this is what, for me, this tool is designed for. Honestly, in the workshop, you have no need of one, really. You've got all your PowerPoints around, unless, like me, when I very much started, I didn't have a PowerPoint in here. This would be an expensive option to replace just getting a Sparky out to run a few cables for you, but it is an option, and it can then go on to other uses outside the shop as well. It is lithium-ion technology. It has 1260, as we said, watt hours of output. It can do those at 240 volts, as well as the USB things that we'll see in a minute. And importantly, its peak output is 1800 watts. That means that any of your tools or devices that are 1800 watts or less can run off this machine. For me, that is almost everything except for the 2000 watt table saw. 2100, I think my saw stop actually is. So I couldn't run that off this, but just about every other tool in the workshop. And as I'm on a battery platform, obviously charging batteries is going to be one of the big things that I use this for when I'm out on the job. Something along the lines of that. Very, very convenient. If you're going to look at more domestic applications, it's roughly 30-ish hours of extra life for a standard size laptop. And the big thing that I used it for the first time was running my Karcher. Now my Karcher pressure washer is an 1800 watt device, and this thing did not miss a beat. So the runtime for that, which is the peak efficiency of this machine, is 42 minutes at 1800. But honestly, there are probably not too many things in the workshop that are going to draw that much power that quickly. But if you are on site, that's the kind of performance this particular model is going to give to you. There are, of course, models up in the Delta range, and if you want smaller capacity and less output, there are cheaper versions available in the River range. But we're just going to stick with the bog standard Delta today. Let's take a wander around the machine and see which bits do what. Right, power button is where you would expect it on the front. This I last charged pretty much to max a month ago, and it seems to have lost maybe a couple of percentage over that time. The display here tells you at the current draw how much time you have remaining, which is very handy because that makes more sense to me than just a battery readout. Obviously, it depends on how much you are taking away of how quickly that number is going to go down. It has the input if you're running the solar panels, or you have this plugged into the AC, and your current draw too, so you know when you are getting up to that 1800 watt limit. Let's try it out with the standard Makita battery charger. And nothing happens. That's because you need to turn on the AC drawer at the back. This has caught me out before and can be kind of annoying because you have a secondary switch here, which you need to press and hold before it'll activate the AC power. We can now hear that is on, and we start getting a readout. That battery's nearly full, but not too bad. We can see here that running the battery charger currently, I am slowly drawing this amount. This will continue to increase as she powers up. This has got its fan running, this has got its fan running, but it does have a good cooling system in here too. You can't run it in like, full sun all day, but it's not too bad operating. I think it's up to about 40 degrees. And already it has stopped because that battery was pretty much done. But you saw there, while it was going to give me 5 or 6 hours worth of battery charging. So the readout is really cool. I do love that it tells you exactly how long you're going to have so that you know when you're going to run out. If I grab my cable, it's going to plug in the side here. Those are your DC inputs for the solar system, but for me, just the AC. Cable's not too bad. It could be a bit longer. I think it's about 1 meter long. So when I go plug that in, we should see the input go. And now, because we have no draw, it is giving me how long it's going to take to get up to 100%. She'll make it from 0 to 80 in 1 hour, and then about another half hour to do the last 20%. I'm not sure why that is how it works, but that's how it works. Very, very quick, in other words. An hour on charge will get you most of the way back up. Just like the AC at the back, the DC has its own on-off power as well, and you get 2 USB-Cs, 2 fast charge USB-As, and 2 standard USB-As as well. All up, I think it's got 11 total ports. On the back, we got our 4 240 volt outputs and your car charger as well if you have something you need to plug into there. Now, obviously, this is a mildly ridiculous setup as I have it plugged in and then this plugged into there. But when I was on site rebuilding those benches, I brought along this exact drill press and the EcoFlow powered it brilliantly. Let's see what happens when you're drawing and charging at the same time. Running. So as you can see, you can charge and draw at the same time if you ever needed to just use this as a very, very expensive power board. Let's talk lifespan. The EcoFlow comes with a 2-year standard warranty, which for a very expensive piece of electronics seems a little low, but for battery technology is relatively good. The company reckons you'll get 800 cycles, so full draw and drains on there, and even that usually means that that is just at peak performance. There's probably some cutoff of 80% maximum usage at that, and then it will degrade over time. So like everything, it is going to have a lifespan. Battery technology has come a long way. It's not perfect, and these are a relatively new device. So their ultimate longevity is yet to be tested. Now here's the kicker. We mentioned it's expensive, and that is true. Retail on this is 2,400 Australian as of June 2023. Currently on sale, I believe that this particular model is going for $2,000. The big question is, can you justify it? Not whether or not this is a good piece of kit. Because this was given to me, of course, but I do believe it is genuinely a very good piece of technology. It does exactly what is on the label. It does it very, very well. It saved me from having to run stupid long extension cords, which is always tricky and difficult and hazardous and all the rest of it. The convenience this adds to your life when you are doing work without access to full power, well, that's what you got to put your price on. If I was a handyman full-time and I needed a portable power solution every week or two, then that price tag is perfectly justifiable for the amount of convenience, safety, and speed that this would add to the work that I was doing. However, the reality is for most of us is we're in our workshop with 240 volt power all of the time, and coughing up $2,000 on a very large battery is simply not reasonable. We got other tools, so many things that we could spend that money on. So what I'd recommend is consider its uses outside of the workshop. If you are in an area that is prone to blackouts or you have a need for a backup power supply for your house to run vital equipment, then yeah, this thing is going to be able to kick in. I believe it has some limited UPS systems too. Once upon a time, I was a great outdoor enthusiast, and going camping, I would usually go ultralight. These days, we're more in the car camping side of things, and when I go away this June long weekend, I'll be bringing the EcoFlow because it will be fantastic in that sort of space. If you are off-grid, if you are outdoors a lot of the time, and or if you are working away from power, then this thing is going to tickle a lot of your fancies. But like everything, it comes down to personal choice of whether or not your need for access to portable 240 volt, stable, well-supplied power is going to match the price tag that they are asking for it. If that answer is yes, then by all means, please check out my affiliate links. Now is an excellent time to pick one up at a bargain, and you'll be giving me a little bit kickback as well. They are down in the description below. This is James from Fix It Fingers. I hope this information on the EcoFlow Delta has helped you decide whether or not it's something you would like to consider for your woodworking operation. But for now, that's me done. I'll catch you on the next one.